Those that've noped the duck out of a relationship, what was your they are probably crazy red flag moment? My ex started a rumor at my college that I'm pregnant. Might as well just get knocked up, since everyone already thinks I am. Then she stared at me expectantly. She wasn't joking. She thought I had to pay for everything when her friends tagged along. Made her friends hate me, and we broke up later. She pulled out a knife and started running in circles around the house with it. I was on a bus back home the next day. Edit. I guess I should provide a little context. The short version. Right before that, she was mad about something her cousin had done. So she came in to complain to me about it. I was busy reading Harry Potter and not listening to what she was saying. So she hauled off and punched me in the balls. She immediately had my attention. I jumped up all what the duck, and she started to try to punch me. I grabbed her by her tiny wrists and stopped her. She settled down a little, and I let her go. Then she went and grabbed a knife and started circling the house. In the end she said she wanted to cut herself and not me, but I wasn't cool with any of that. The long version involved her dad raping her, her mother in prison. She lived with her grandma. She got pregnant. Her grandma died of cancer. She lived with a teacher. The teacher kicked her out because we made the Essexy times. She lived with my grandma. She lost the baby. We graduated. We got on a bus and moved across the country to live with her aunt. And then the short version. She just played too much Counter-Strike. She told me a story about how she once had a stalker that would stand in her backyard and stare at her through her window at night and call her and tell her he liked her bra, the color of it, etc. It got weirder when she took me out to her backyard to show me the exact spot where he was standing, even though she claimed to never have seen him. She told me many other wild facts, that she thought it was this guy that went to school with us, but she wouldn't tell me his name. That she got letters from him claiming he was in love with her. Things like that. But none of them added up, and it was so completely obviously a lie. The final nail in the 2x4 was when I got a Facebook message from her mom on Facebook trying to convince me that her daughter was telling the truth, when it was obviously her that got onto her mom's Facebook and sent me the message. I completely ended contact with her after that. Not even dating, but going out on a few dates, and over text message goes, "Hey, I just wanted you to know that I've had many past partners. I've probably slept with at least 30 guys. Now I don't judge, and I don't care." So I replied with, "Hey, that's cool. It doesn't bother mesh flips," and goes off, "I don't give a duck what you think. I wasn't asking permission from you. Why then do you bring it up? I don't give a duck." Edit. By the way, we were 16 years old and still in high school at this point. I was 15. She wanted a negative reaction. Meaning she wanted to end things anyways. She wanted to flip out either way. At least if you had said to or something, she would have a slightly more sensible reason to be pissed. She told me I had to be okay with the fact that her and her two brothers sometimes duck and have been doing so since they were little kids. Nope. I called her pretty. She did not like this. She got quite angry, then tweeted something to the tune of "Every girl deserves to be called beautiful every day. Apostrophe. Pretty psycho." Excuse me? Clearly she's beautiful psycho. Her complete inability to leave money in a checking account. She had a frightening compulsion to spend more than we had. I kept thinking that she would settle down once we had a few items for our apartment. After 6 or 7 years I finally realized we could never dig out of the debt we had, and we broke up. I took $10,000 in credit card debt to pay off the guilt I felt for leaving her, and lived in a shack to save up money. Within a year or so I had paid off the bills and started watching my bank account grow and grow. It became a game for me, and I still kept living like a pauper. By the time I met somebody else and proposed, I had so much money that my new wife yelled at me that it was not making interest in my checking account. She was right, but it still broke my heart to see my checking account game get reset. Oh, and we celebrated 17 years of marriage this year. She's a keeper. She bit me twice. Once on my arm and then on my ass. These were not fun. Love bites. We were in an argument and the crazy broad got violent. Took a chunk out of both places. I finally slapped her so she would release her jaw from my ass. She was shocked. She called the cops. They showed up and arrested her. I was the one bleeding after all. He yelled at me and accused me of cheating because he found another man's pubic hair on my toilet seat. It was dog hair. He still didn't believe me when I got the dog and compared its fur to the hair found on the toilet seat. I'm just picturing your dog using the toilet and then when you find the hair he thinks has caught, but then he hears arguing and he knows his secret is safe. I didn't wash a bowl in the sink before work. I said I went to do it, but got distracted and I didn't. He decided to teach me a lesson by speeding the car up and then slamming the brakes on and stopped before hitting the car in front of us, stopped at the lights. They turned to me and said I was going to smash into them. But I didn't. Yeah, he didn't last long after that. It was weird, and looking back it didn't make sense what he said, but it scared the shit out of me at the time. That's horrifying and abusive. I'm glad you left. Ex of 3 years started suggesting the idea of having a threesome. We lost our virginity together. So I figured she just wanted to branch out and have some new experiences in a respectful and mutually beneficial way. Nope. She just wanted to test my loyalty and got pissed at me for being interested in her suggestion. This is so ridiculous. I can't imagine being this disingenuous about something that's supposed to be a close intimate conversation. I dated a girl who was the second girl I had ever been with. I found out she was kind of nuts after she showed me that she liked to make her cat do backflips by physically flipping her poor cat upside down. So I stopped seeing her, and I later found out she had posted stories about us on her online journal, none of which were true stories. Then I found out she was killed by an alligator in Florida because she wanted to go skinny dipping in a pond in the middle of the night. After our third date he brought up getting married. When I told him I'm not against it, but I feel like I should date the person for a few years first, he didn't understand why I'd want to wait so long. Disney princesses don't wait that long. Why should you? In fairness, Disney princesses have usually had a near-death experience shortly before being proposed to. That kind of thing can really change your perspective. Also, the dude doing the proposing tends to be the only eligible bachelor in the kingdom. So why put it off, I guess. I thanked her for advice that she had given me by texting thanks for the advice, and she flipped the duck out, asking me why I always have to be so sarcastic and passive aggressive. She could not believe that I legitimately thought it was thankful. Don't remember what it was anymore though. We were not in a relationship, thank God. But after the first date I had a weird feeling. 2 red flags stood out. He was slightly irritated to learn I was in my 30s, even though he was 40. As in was irritated I was not younger. I look much younger than I am. Not angry, irritated, but you could tell he was slightly disappointed. Then when I mentioned how I used to be incredibly gullible and naive, he took quite an interest in that. Too much of an interest. So that night, after I got home I googled him, but couldn't find anything. Talked to my upstairs neighbor about him and showed her a picture. Lucky for me, she knew who he was because he went to school with her ex-husband. Turns out I couldn't find him because he gave me a fake last name. Looked him up using the correct name and what I found made me sick to my stomach. Not only was he almost 10 years older than what he told me, but he also had 1 conviction and 2 arrests for gross sexual imposition of a minor. Read the documents and their physical description matched mine to a T. Hair type, body type, ECT. Noped out of that situation really ducking quick and told him never to contact me again. To his credit he never did. That's really messed up. It's really good that you found out so early. It makes me sick to think that people like him are out there when there are women who are actually gullible. Always do your research. He thought the dog was in the crate and proceeded to throw the crate towards the sliding glass doors while screaming about me letting a pan soak in the sink after dinner. Dog was sitting next to me on the couch under a blanket, packed our shit up and never looked back. We went to an amusement park and she demanded we rode the same ride 4 times in a row and would throw a fit anytime I suggested anything else. The line for that ride was over 2 hours each time and we basically waited in lines for the whole day. He wouldn't let me eat more food than him. In the end of our relationship he would measure my food every time I tried to eat. I hadn't been eating for 2 days because I was scared to make him angry and tried to make a meal and took 1 deciliter more than I was allowed and he flipped the duck out. He was crazy as duck but thought I was the crazy one. Edit. Last I hear from him, he still faked having Asperger to get money so he wouldn't have to work. Classy. Edit 2. Apparently he is a photographer with fake Asperger collecting welfare money now. Told me she couldn't have a baby because something was wrong with her. I thought, oh well, that sucks, but whatever. Constantly asking me about baby related stuff and how she really wants a baby even though she told me she can't. Started to wonder what was up at this point. Went on holiday for a month. Came back and was still seeing/dating her and talking constantly, but she had blocked me on Facebook. Getting massive red flags at this point. Started acting altogether really weird. Asked her what was going on and that I just wanted her to be honest. Turned out she was pregnant and is now a single mother. Think I dodged a bullet. She broke every bit of glass, plate, window, mirror in our house. Took a knife to the sofa and smashed in the TV. Spent the night driving around drunk looking for me. I was 2 blocks away at my best amigo's house. Located me. Physically assaulted me in front of my friends. And then drove to her parents' house. Grabbed her father's hunting shotgun. And told her parents she was going to blow her head off. She spent 2 weeks in a locked ward and was diagnosed with adult onset schizophrenia. She was legitimately crazy. My ex said if I was locking the bathroom door, I was probably hiding something from him. And a couple of times he pretended to break up with me to see my reaction. When I cried he laughed at me and said he was glad I cared about him. What a mature 30-year-old man. I'm glad he is not a part of my life anymore. Like this video and this good boy will be your mailman forever. We are Redditation. And we redditate every day. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. Until then, check another video. Or don't. Either way, have a wonderful day you magnificent people.